Hey, what's up? Good evening again. I'm Lubo. This is Ian. We're back to the For Cauliflower Ears podcast. No guests tonight again. It's the holidays, pre-holiday, post-holiday, and it's very hard to find somebody. We had Sasha lined up, but she flaked out in last minute, just like
Flake.
Yep. But then again, she was always our Plan B, so who cares? It's her new nickname, Plan B. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure she'll enjoy that. But we'll get her next time. Anyway, so there is a few interesting. Just today, we got the news that UFC is coming to. Well, we knew it was coming to LA at some point, but we didn't know when. It's coming to the new Clippers arena. Boo, Clippers! But anyway, since Pete is not here, we can. Pete is a Clippers fan.
Is he?
Yep.
Why?
He's confused. Yeah.
Okay.
He grew up in. Let me tell you how confused Pete is when it comes to basketball. Pete, if you're watching this, you have absolutely no reason not to agree with me.
If you're
you grew up in
thank
Chicago. You grew up in Chicago. Watching the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, you were a Clippers fan.
That is weird. I love it though.
I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyway, so the UFC 3 whatever number is coming. 311. 311 is coming to LA in January.
January 18.
Yeah. And
Inglewood.
And it's a crazy Inglewood, and it's a crazy
super stacked
crazy card. And by the way, a card like this I would expect to be in Abu Dhabi because of all the Muslim presence in the main card and the co-main. But I guess it was due to be here, so they kind of you know sometimes you just match it up. But we've got in the main event we have a title match. Islam against Arman Tsarukyan.
2.
Yes. By the way, if you haven't seen it, if I remember, I'll put a link in the description of the first match, the first fight between the two of them. It's on YouTube.
I really didn't see that.
You haven't seen that?
I've heard about it, but I didn't watch
three
it.
round fight. It wasn't it was a couple of years ago. 3-round fight. Makhachev was not a champion yet, and it wasn't a title match.
Did he dominate him?
No, he didn't dominate him. He beat him fair and square. But it was a tight match, and it's, by the way, it is my favorite. I've seen that fight like probably 4 times. My favorite fight to watch in terms of grappling. My favorite grappling fight of all time from MMA. Right, and my second favorite, by the way, is from I think it was from one championship, Mei Yamaguchi against who was it? Can't remember who. Man, I can't remember. It was she fought her a few times. Fairtex, I think.
Stamp.
Crazy fights. If you haven't seen those, I highly recommend. If you're into grappling, which you probably are if you're watching this. At the end of the day, this is these are some great fights to watch. But in any case, that's the main event. Who do you think is going to take that? I mean, people talk about Makhachev, and I think Makhachev will take it.
Me too.
But I got to tell you, don't sleep on Tsarukyan. Don't sleep on that guy because Makhachev has improved, but so has Tsarukyan since the last fight. And the last fight was no fluke for either of them. Tsarukyan, I don't know about his submission grappling. I think Makhachev has better submission grappling. Tsarukyan has a wrestling and kickboxing background. He has a kickboxing background and wrestling, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas Makhachev has sambo background, which combat sambo, which makes a big difference when it comes to submissions.
And his wrestling.
Yeah, obviously yes, but I mean he has an extensive sambo background, which contributes to his. I'm sure he knew what an armbar is long before he knew what jiu-jitsu is.
Right.
I think that
does Tsarukyan have any kind of submission grappling type, or is it just?
I mean,
straight
he does.
wrestling?
Obviously, he's a contender for a UFC title. He should have it by now, and he does. I've seen his fights, but it's not. I don't think it's at the same level.
Just Islam with Khabib in his corner, and that being such a big night because Umar. It's just he's got momentum. Plus, he already beat him, so he's got a little bit of a mental advantage. You would imagine. Yeah. He just has a lot of momentum going into this. Not saying that Tsarukyan doesn't, but
I gotta tell you, Tsarukyan is gonna have huge following here in LA. Little Armenia is probably the biggest Little Armenia in the world. So, and Little Armenia, aside from Glendale,
Right.
Glendale is a big Armenia.
You got Little Armenia. and you got
Bro, pass me that ashtray.
I used to work in Glendale
Dude.
when I first moved out here, and I was what is this?
When I had my shop in North Hollywood, it was like they had a monopoly over the smoke shops and the pot shops, and the marijuana stores at the time were like, they were legal, but they were doing all kind of illegal shit, right? They had their license, but they lost it so easily because
it was more trap type stuff going on.
Yeah. So they were always they would order delivery from us all the time. They would just eat like pigs every day, like fucking order like 17 burgers between 4 of them, you know.
Money's no object.
Yeah, and just and throwing money and stuff like this, good for business.
Yeah, they tip well.
But it's funny how many. It's no coincidence that they own all the smoke shops. I think they go out of business because they consume a lot of their own inventory.
Is that racist?
No. They fucking smoke like chimneys.
I'm joking.
They smoke like chimneys. If you're Armenian and you're watching this, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. It's like, say about black people and watermelon as a stereotype.
Yeah.
I mean, black people like watermelon. I fucking love watermelon.
Who doesn't like watermelon? That's the thing I always thought was kind of weird.
That's the thing,
Same thing with chicken too.
But
like, who
and
doesn't
fried
like chicken?
Right? But the thing is, it's a stereotype, right? But whether it's true or not, I mean, I've never seen a black person that doesn't like watermelon or chicken, but I've rarely seen a white person that doesn't either.
Right. I've never seen anybody.
But I'm
yet
to see an Armenian that doesn't smoke. I'm yet to see one. By the way, all due respect, my first English teacher. I've had others since then, but my first English teacher, the one who gave me all the fundamentals of the language, and I actually spoke English after I stopped. After I stopped learning with her, she was Armenian.
Really?
My grandma's very good friend. She had a sister who lived in LA at the time and all that. So she graduated from the English language school.
How old
Bulgaria.
are you when you learned?
I was 8 when I started.
Oh, really?
I studied for 4 years with her.
Was it being that young? I've tried to learn languages older, but being that young, was it hard? Do you remember thinking like, "Oh, this is so tough," or was it just like whatever?
No, man. I studied 1 hour a week private lessons with her.
1 hour a week?
1 hour a week for 4 years, and
then work on your own.
Well, 1 hour a week with her, and she would. I had a semi advantage because I already knew how to write in the Latin alphabet, so I didn't have to learn that from scratch. Okay. Because we don't use the Latin alphabet, but I already knew that, so for me it wasn't a big deal. That wasn't a big deal. But obviously, right. But obviously, spelling in English, even though English uses the Latin alphabet, spelling is like a very English is a difficult language for spelling, right? Compared to other languages like Spanish. Spanish is not that hard to spell at all, right? Or German. French is very difficult to spell.
French is ridiculous.
Right.
All their letters are silent.
But English also has a bunch of letters that are silent. So the thing about French is that most of the letters that are silent are like vowels, whereas in English it could be like consonants, like 17 consonants.
Right.
Like you spell 8, the number.
Right.
And it's like,
where'd they get that shit from?
Why not just write 8 like
ATE.
ATE, yeah.
Already being used.
Yeah, have a double meaning, whatever. Easy, 7, 8, 9, that shit. 7, 8, 9. Yeah. There you go. But
7, 8, 9. Stupid. It took me a second. I was like, I've heard that.
It took me like a second the first time I heard it, and I was already grown up.
Wait a minute, 7, 8, 9.
Oh shit! But so Armenians, big respect, great people. I got nothing against Armenians, but the stereotypes hold true.
Well, in general, I will say this. It doesn't sound. I've always said Stereotypes are
They
stereotypes.
started somewhere.
Because they're true.
They started somewhere.
But they're not true with the problem with stereotypes is when they give you an idea, but when people go to them for facts, that's when there's a problem. Stereotypes are stereotypes because they're true-ish.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not true with everybody.
The Asian women and driving.
Dude.
Too bad Sasha's not here.
I know. Way to come out for your race, Sasha.
Yeah. Sasha, please take the bus.
Does she drive?
She does. She does. Dangerously.
I've never seen her
Dangerously.
I've never seen her drive.
But yeah. I haven't seen her drive either, but
What does she drive?
I don't. I assume a car, not a truck.
She have little. I can see her on like a Vespa.
Now that's stereotypical. Now that is there.
With a little umbrella. That's my girl, though.
And one of those hats. No, you wanted to say that. You wanted to say that. You didn't want to say umbrella. You wanted to say that.
It's winter. As you can see, we have like a different backdrop because we can plug in a heater.
Yeah, shit.
I don't know if it's like the weather or that heater is powerful. Because it is definitely not cold right now.
No, it's not as cold as last time when we were here with
Yeah.
Brian, with Horace.
I think it's cold outside, though.
Baby, it is cold outside.
Yeah. That's a song. That was cool.
Yeah. that song, "Baby It's Cold Outside," was
It's kinda
banned on the radio.
Right.
Yeah,
Because it's also
after all
fucking
the
Me Too type.
after all the shenanigans by
Diddy.
no,
or
no.
The
Bill
movie guy?
Bill Cosby. No, it was Bill Cosby when they did the that's right, Bill Cosby and Weinstein. Yeah, Weinstein. Yes. Yeah, because no means no, and then you know, when
weirdos.
the lyrics of the song go like well, the guy is basically just being too insistent.
Right.
I don't know if he's being too insistent. I think that it was just it was.
I saw some.
There was something about she's saying, "What did you put in my drink?" or something.
Well, she's trying to get away. And
She's
he's
trying
like,
to get
"Nah,
away,
come."
and he's like, "No, have another drink, and all that stuff."
I've seen a
It's like-
spoof of it where they had two actors, and they he's like pulling her back in and stuff.
Well, yeah, but there is no actual video clip of that song because that song was
It's like from the
that song
20s
is
or
from the
something?
40s. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the 1940s or something like this. And there's no actual video clip of that song, so I don't think that this was like made back then. If anything, at the time, I don't even know that women were allowed in bars and stuff. You know, at that time back then, you know.
Yeah.
No, they were because you know.
Well, I thought that she was leaving. Are they in a bar?
It's a bar because she was saying it's.
They made in the video that I saw that they were spoofing.
I thought it was a bar.
They made it look like she was at his house.
Oh, I thought it was a bar all this time.
It could be.
Yeah, but I was gonna say like if you're with a girl at the bar, and if it is a bar, of course. But if it's at his house, like why did she even go in the first place?
Say ask that Conor McGregor girl the same question.
About what?
Well,
this podcast is wild.
I saw somebody say
If this doesn't get us canceled, it won't get us canceled because nobody will see it to cancel it. But nobody's gonna.
But somebody wrote.
I didn't know that.
Somebody wrote this and it made sense. They're like, you're going to a hotel room with two dudes with cocaine. What do you think is about to happen?
But about who is that?
Her name is something. Her last name is Hand. The girl that just won the civilly against Conor McGregor.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even know that shit.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not trying to blame a victim or anything like that, but if I had a daughter, I would try to impart this. Dude, if you're going to a hotel room with two dudes with like party favors,
right.
They're expecting something. You're kind of. That's just.
I think that we're. Okay, I'm gonna play the devil's advocate here because I think we're.
Same thing with Mike Tyson.
With
that girl that he got in trouble for.
Didn't he beat her up?
No, I think it was.
That's why he was in jail.
He was in jail for it was like sexual.
Robin, yeah.
No, that was his wife. I'm talking about.
He beat up his wife. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't go to jail for that. He went to jail for like rape.
Sexual. Yeah.
And it was a similar type thing.
Yeah.
Where the girl showed up and they hung out and she went to his apartment
but the thing
or his
is,
hotel.
the thing is that I think there are levels to it, and I'll say that in a second.
I would agree.
But I'll say that in a second. But the you can go to. First of all, everybody makes stupid decisions every so often, especially when there is alcohol or some impairment.
100%.
Right. So
I've
you
been
go.
there.
You can go to. I was joking. Definitely, like when I said, "What do you think is going to happen?" What did she go to the house for? Obviously, she went for some. But the thing is that I don't think in the song, if it was a house, I don't think she was drunk and wasted when she went to the house. That's my point. That girl going to the hotel room with two guys with coke. You don't just go up to a girl and say, "I got some coke. Let's go."
They've been hanging out.
They've been hanging out.
Right.
There has been drinking involved and stuff. 'Cause
Right.
usually that's the what happens right before coke, right?
Right.
Not that I would know. I've never taken coke, to be honest
Right.
with you. But I know that this is how shit works with coke. But in the song, the baby is called outside. If it is a house, indeed, I'm not sure about that. I think that they were having a nightcap. I don't know. Like maybe he said, "Come to my house" or something like this. But even so, like, what do you think they went to the house for, right?
Right.
But with that being said, she may have changed her mind.
That's the thing.
All right, so maybe she had a clarity moment, and she went like, I should probably get going.
In the song, she obviously
my mother is waiting or something like
she
this.
She definitely
right?
wanted to leave in the song.
Yes.
Hey,
pull up the lyrics.
In the
Jamie, pull up the lyrics. Let me just double check. This is lining up to be the best podcast ever.
The phone might be listening
Baby,
to
it's... Yeah.
I put baby, it's...
Nah, it's...
And the first thing that comes up.
Yeah, it's the most searched. Okay, I really can't stay, baby, it's cold out... Is that the beginning of the song?
Yeah.
I really can't stay, baby, it's cold outside. I've got to go away. Baby, it's cold outside. Oh, so she says, I really can't stay. He says, baby, it's cold outside. She says, I've got to go away. He says, baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been hoping that you drop in. So very nice. I'll hold your hands. They're just like ice. My mother will start to worry. Beautiful. What's your hurry?
My father would
be pacing the floor. Listen to that fireplace roar. So they're going line for line.
Fireplace roar is probably at a house.
That's true. Although I did work in an Irish pub that had a fireplace.
Okay.
Just saying. Listen to fireplace roar. So really, I'd better scurry. Beautiful, please don't hurry. But maybe just a hold. A hold a drink more. I'll put some records on while I pour. Okay, so it is his place. Yeah. Okay.
The neighbors might think.
The neighbors might think, baby, it's bad out there. Say, what's in this drink? No cabs to be had out there.
What's in this drink?
What's in this drink? Yes. Say, what's in this drink?
Rohypnol.
Is that Bill Cosby? I wish I knew how. Oh, because it says no cabs had to be had out there. No cabs, as in, no taxi. I wish I knew how. Your eyes are like straight light now. All right, so she's going straight light already. To break this spell, I'll take your hat. Your hair looks swell.
So he's just keep on
He's working her.
Yeah.
He's working her. And, your hair looks swell. When somebody tells you that, it's from the 1940s. You know that this is, this is not,
today.
I ought to say, no, sir. So he goes, mind if I'm moving closer?
Right.
At least I'm going to say that I tried. What's the sense in hurting my pride? I really can't stay. Baby, don't hold out. Baby, it's cold outside. Whoa, this is. I never got that deep into the lyrics. Don't hold out. It's cold outside. Holy
it's getting
shit.
more and more intense.
You're
very pushy.
You're very pushy. I'd like to think of it as opportunistic.
Dude, this is
I simply must go. Baby, it's cold outside. The answer is no. But baby, it's cold outside. The welcome has been how lucky that you dropped in so nice and warm. Look out the window at that storm. My sister will be suspicious. Gosh, your lips look delicious.
This dude.
By the way, we're not doing enough justice. This sounds like a comedy, but when you hear the song, the song is beautiful. By the way, it's a really good, really nice song. Yeah, right. And it's this long, but you don't realize that it's this long. I was about to say that because they're going line for line. So she goes, "I've got to get home," and he goes like, "Baby, you freeze out there," and then it's like a back and forth. It's like a conversation going. So it's we're not doing enough justice actually.
We should sing it for the next one.
For the next one, we'll bring a
that's a karaoke.
Yeah, yeah. Get Sasha to say.
Get Sasha. Racist. Almost done though.
I've got to get home. Baby, you'll freeze out there. Say, lend me your comb. It's up to you. It's up to your knees out there.
Snow.
Yeah, snow. You're really being grand. I thrill when I touch your hand. But don't you see? How can you do this thing to me? Who's saying that? He or she? How can you do this thing to me? He's probably saying
he's
that.
Saying that. Like,
how can you? Yeah. Yeah, he's got a boner already. Like what the, you know. So there is bound to be. Okay, the next verse. There is bound to be talk tomorrow. Think of my lifelong sorrow. At least there will be plenty implied. If you got pneumonia and died, and she goes, I really can't stay. Get over that holdout. Baby, it's cold. Baby, it's cold outside. Okay, fine. Just another drink. That took a lot of convincing. All this shit.
Damn.
Oh my God.
So he won. That took a lot of convincing. Damn.
That took a lot of convincing, but yeah, man, I've never. That's the first time I ever.
That's enlightening to me.
I haven't been critical. I've been when the radios banned the song because they didn't.
Did they really ban it?
They did. Radios in Illinois and all that stuff. They did. Look it up. It was not nationwide ban. It's nothing like this. It's not like censored or anything. Just single radio stations banned.
You see the first thing? I didn't even type anything. Do you see the first thing that's up there? Why was Baby It's Cold Outside banned?
Oh shit! This thing is listening to us.
It's listening to us. It was banned by some radio stations in 2018
due to
the controversy of the lyrics and associated with Bill Cosby.
With Bill
That's
Cosby,
crazy. Yeah. I didn't know it was like because when I saw it, it was spoofed.
Right. You would think so, but I actually listened.
I didn't hear about this like being legitimate.
The first time I heard about it was on Mason and Ireland.
Seen as sex as frozen out by radio stations. It is kind of sexist, but
I think in Chicago and the cold states, they can relate to it. We're like, the fuck, it's cold outside.
I mean, it's cold. But
who's gonna believe this shit?
It's not that cold.
It's not that cold.
It's not like getting pneumonia and dying.
Yeah, pneumonia and dying.
You're not getting pneumonia in California.
Yeah, no, that girl is free to go, man. It's like she's not even doesn't need a cab or anything. Like she can walk.
She can walk. But she got a vest out there.
In LA, it would be like because there's no transportation. I mean, there is transportation, but this is the 1940s. Who knows what there was?
It's easy now. It's Uber.
No, yeah, now it's different. They had rails before, train and stuff, but trams. I think I still see some rails here and there, but I think in LA this would have gone like.
It would have been the same.
You gotta come on, stay one more. It's a little chilly out there. It's just like, and instead of saying there is no cab to be had, it's gonna be like you're gonna have to walk. Anyway, this is
call it Waymo or something.
This is very dark at this point.
We're
like this. We're like this. So yeah, that's why you're watching. And if you're still watching, then you're like this too.
You're with us.
At this point, if you're still watching,
you might as well stay.
Might as well stay. We were gonna talk about some stuff, but we never know what we're gonna talk about. So
let's talk about that Mikey thing.
Mikey Musumeci. If you don't know who he is, and you probably do if you're a grappling fan.
Yeah, if you're watching this, you probably
Mikey Musumeci is 4 or 5 time, IBJJF world champion in the gi. Mikey Musumeci is a very good no-gi grappler these days, although he didn't do a lot of no-gi in the past. He had
I think he won 4,
I think.
gi world titles.
Gi IBJJF, yes. And he is very, very technical.
He's good.
He's good, and he never even did leg locks before. He started doing them when he started doing no gi. He's really good, and he had very few high-level opponents in the last 3 years because he competed at ONE FC.
I would agree with you.
Yep,
That's the one thing that's strange.
That's the one knock. He made a ton of money there because he submitted everybody. He got paid like $100,000 per match or something.
Who was the toughest match? Since we're just... He beat up Gary Tonin.
He didn't beat Gary Tonin. Tyro Tola beat Gary Tonin.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Tyro
I'm thinking
Tola.
of...
They're in a different weight class. Gary would have run him over.
I'm thinking of Shinya Aoki, right?
Shinya Aoki, I think. But he did, but he's
old.
Yeah. We talked about it last time. It's like Nicky Ryan beating Imanari, which, by the way, we're going to talk about in a second. I don't know if you've seen the news.
No.
No? Oh, good. We'll talk about it in a moment. So, Michael Musumeci broke up with ONE FC for some reason. I don't know what happened. There was some drama, I guess, or something, because
a lot of people are
now all of a sudden he went from about ONE.
Yeah.
He went from the greatest, according to him, organization, martial arts organization in the world, where everything was about respect and all that stuff. Remember when he was saying that?
Yeah, something bad happened.
He went to the UFC, where everything now is about ethics and morals, which I find hilarious.
Weird, right?
But you heard that? You heard that? It's a long video, otherwise we would play it for the microphone, but it's a like 3-minute video. Mikey Musumeci talks about how the grappling world, the jiu-jitsu world right now is plagued by PEDs, by performance enhancing drugs, steroids, and stuff like this. So, while this may be true, and it's openly so, not in IBJJF openly so because they do test, but he wants to root this thing out.
Who tests?
IBJJF.
IBJJF tests
at black belt 11, and
it's not comprehensive.
No, it's not.
You have to you have to win.
You have to win,
and then it's still a lottery. I don't think everyone that wins gets tested.
Yeah, and not at masters. They don't test masters, but they're still testing.
There's testing.
There's testing. Whereas in the professional competitions, ADCC, who's number one, CJI, they don't test.
No testing.
Which I personally.
Do you think they're not testing because they don't want to change anything, or do you think they're not testing because testing is expensive?
No, I think they're not.
I think it's because testing is...
I think both, but I
think it's mainly because it's expensive.
Well, let me ask you something, and that's
a hassle.
That's my point. I don't know.
It's work.
I don't know, but put yourself in this position. Who's number one? Just had a card tonight. I watched the card. Not all the matches, but I watched some of them. Whatever I could watch, and it was flat out boring.
Was it?
Yeah, and I put my jacket on because I'm getting a little chilly. I only have a t-shirt underneath. It was flat out boring, and it was in case you don't know which one it is. It's the main event was
Kaynan Duarte.
Kaynan Duarte against
Roberto
Jimenez, and that was actually probably the most entertaining match. Aside from Helena Krever.
Who did she go against?
She went against another girl that's, I think, Peruvian girl that trains from Miami. I forgot her name. Leilani something.
She's good.
But and that was a good match. Helena did her, and like the other girl was just sitting back and quite afraid to do anything because she was feeling trapped all the time.
Yeah.
But Kaynan and Roberto did very well. A nice match. Not exciting by any means, but it was a nice match. Technical. The co-main event was horrendous.
Really? Was it a name? Were there any names?
Pedro Moreno and Isaac Michel.
Isaac Michel, really?
They stood on their feet. They slapped each other.
He's good. He's usually in good matches.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely better than Pedro Moreno in my opinion technically. But Pedro Moreno is just not gonna sit down and wait for you. You know, Pedro Moreno needs to be taken down, and he's like a bulldozer. And who's number one has him holding that title, and he's
Pedro Moreno has a title.
Yeah, he's holding the light heavyweight title. But the thing is that if you want to watch a boring match, watch Pedro Moreno.
Do you think the boring nature of that? Do you think it's because of the rule set?
No, I don't think so. I think the rule set is pretty good in who's number one. It's kind of like Polaris. There's no points. There are 3 5-minute segments in a 15-minute match. I think it's good. I think that there will be a winner either way. it's not like boring. There is no like people are not playing to play the system and get to overtime.
What are you blaming it on?
But I just
You blame because no one's on because they're not on
no,
enough
oh no,
steroids?
they're all on steroids. I think that I blame it on the matchups, and there I was listening to Ricardo Amendola saying that because I think he's the matchmaker.
Is he?
I believe something like this. Yes, I think that he was saying that with who's number one, a lot of it comes to timing because you can't book whatever just whatever you want. It's not and it's not about the money only. There is always, I mean, for a fight to happen, for a match to happen, two participants have to be available, right? And you don't make a whole card with just one interesting match and the rest are like scrubs, right?
Sure.
You want to have as many as possible. And on paper, if I tell you that Pedro Mourinho is gonna have a matchup with Isaac Michel, you'll say, "Oh, this is fireworks." But neither of them wanted to play guard, and they just stood it out, and they just slapped each other in the face a few times, like collar ties and stuff, like those jabs that Wagner Rocha likes to the shoulder.
Were there any stalling calls or penalties?
Just one, I think, at the very end to Pedro Mourinho, but it didn't matter because he was already winning. He was kind of like pushing the action. And then after that, I watched an interview with John Danaher, who was, by the way, cornering Isaac Michel because Isaac is training at
New Wave?
New Wave.
Is he?
Yeah. And
Wow.
and you know who else was in the corner?
Because he got kicked out of B team.
You know who else was in his corner? No, he left from there, I think.
I think he got kicked out.
Yeah.
I think
he broke up. He fell out with Craig Jones.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know who else was? It was Danaher, and who else was in his corner? Bo Nickel.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. So,
that kid's getting around.
Yeah. So
he's the one that just fought Paul Craig. I was thinking of Paul Craig a little while
Paul
ago.
Craig, yes. So the John Danaher was. I saw an interview, but I saw it after the match, and the interview was from after a training session, but before the matches happened, right? And they asked him, "What do you think about Isaac Michel that you're going to corner? Whom you're going to corner and Pedro Mourinho match?" And he says, "Well, Pedro Mourinho is a very good competitor. He's not going to sit down and give you bottom. He's not going to give up bottom position. And Isaac has been working his wrestling, and he's not going to give up bottom position either. And I think that match is just going to be like on the feet, and it's not going to, it's going to be very hard for each other to take down. And that's exactly what happened in the fight, So my point here is, it sounds like a great match to watch, but it was boring as hell. And you know why it was boring? Because
were they aggressive with each other trying to get takedowns?
Dude, they weren't even. That's my point. They were aggressive with each other, but they weren't trying to get takedowns.
Well, what's that all about?
If you watch J-Rod against Mika Galvao,
right,
that match
from WNO,
yeah,
I saw that.
They were going and the Tackett. It was on the same night. Tackett and Mika Galvao. They were going for takedowns, and they were taking each other down. They were just getting up and all that stuff. So it was going on, right? It wasn't like these guys. They were just like they would go for a snatch single and then quit halfway through, and it was like it was just really boring.
Yeah.
Felipe Pena went against what's the name of the guy? He's got a big name these days. I forgot his name. He trains at B Team also. He's got a very peculiar name, but anyway, Felipe submitted him with a guillotine.
Not Heisem.
No.
They did go against each other though.
No, the Declan Moody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he submitted him with a guillotine, and it wasn't an exciting match or anything like that. The guillotine was like Declan just fell into it, kind of, and Armin guillotine and Felipe
from the guard.
From the side. Felipe threw his leg over, went to the mount, and then went one more time close guard, and that's when he tapped.
Okay.
It went pretty good, but it just happened. He just jumped on it.
How long into the match?
I don't know, not too long, but not like halfway maybe. But the other half was pretty boring. And then, Philippe's matches are not exactly moneymakers. Okay, so my point here is this. It's hard to find matchups. It's hard to put them together because of timing of the athletes and all that stuff. Because they compete. These motherfuckers, they compete every weekend or whatever they can, you know? And even now, especially now, it's 2 weeks out of the No-Gi Worlds, which you were supposed to do, remember?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
it's still 2024.
It still is, yeah. You got time. I don't know what the cutoff age is, probably 65 or something.
I still got time.
You still got time. Like Mr. Incredible, I still got time. and so in fact, the girl that went up against Helena Krevar was oh no, I'm sorry. The girl. Oh, you know who was Daddy Fornarino?
Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She also competed. So she's the one that competed against this girl. Her opponent.
She's pretty good.
Her opponent went out of the competition or didn't compete because of injury or something. I don't know what happened, and they had to find a replacement. They find this girl who is a very good competitor, and Amendola was saying that. They found that girl who was training in Atlanta, Georgia. She was there for Thanksgiving, but she was in shape because she's about to do the Worlds.
Oh.
So there is a coincidence, you know. She was nearby because that was in Houston. She was nearby. She was, you know. So they flew her over on short notice. She had a good show up, you know, with Adele, and Adele ankle locked her. I hope it wasn't anything bad because now she's got to go do the Worlds. So
right.
but the Worlds is like 2 weeks, so ankle locks are not unless it's broken.
Straight ankle.
Straight ankle, yeah. Unless it's broken, it's not. But it didn't look broken. She didn't. Yeah, she tapped early, I think, too, which is very smart because you know it's like you're gonna make the money anyway.
Right.
She wasn't getting in any better position. But
no shame of losing a last minute match either.
Yeah, last minute match against the world champion, the current ADCC champion. And you got a big show coming up like 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, it's like almost
on
like
an ankle lock. Forget about it. Yeah. It was like it was. I think it was a good thing. Make some money in the process.
Yeah.
Why not? But matchups are hard to make. Now imagine on top of that, Flow Grappling is paying. You know who's number one is their show. They're paying. Imagine they paid so much money to Gordon Ryan to headline shows and stuff. He has like a multi-million-dollar contract.
I don't think everybody's getting...
Nobody's getting the kind of money he's getting.
Yeah.
But my point is this. What's going to happen if these guys stop taking PEDs? Gordon Ryan takes drugs. I think we spoke about it the other day. He takes drugs, not drugs. I mean steroids for the sole reason of getting bigger. Not because of... Not because he wants to be strong and stuff. I don't think so. Because I've heard him say in an interview that he does have a problem. He used to have a problem, and he still does probably, with getting bigger. He wanted to put on weight. He wanted to put on, not just weight, but I guess muscle mass.
Was he trying to do that for a reason outside of jiu-jitsu competition?
For jiu-jitsu competition, because he was competing in heavyweight. But he was, and he still is, on the light side of the heavyweight.
Right.
He's competing at 218, 220, 222.
Yeah, but
and
he gained a bunch of weight. He probably shouldn't have been a heavyweight. He's probably not a natural heavyweight. When he first came on the scene, he was lean.
Yeah, but if you want to win the absolutes, you're probably better off being a heavyweight.
I mean, if you want to win the absolutes.
And let's not forget that was his ultimate goal, ADCC, you know?
Well, okay. Then that makes sense.
So... Look, regardless of what it is, he wanted to be big. That's how he became big, right? The thing is that, so obviously he's not naturally that big, right?
Obviously.
But the thing is, imagine. So he takes steroids, and he's allowed to, right? So now he's the moneymaker. Now everybody else has to take steroids because otherwise, how's that shit gonna work? Now right? You can put conditions if there was like a whole bunch of moneymakers around, you know.
What do you mean conditions on steroid usage?
Yeah.
See, at that point,
who the hell watches this sport? Who watches this sport?
More and more people every year.
Yeah, it becomes more and more popular, but we've already spoken about that. Is it becoming a mainstream sport anytime soon? Do you think?
Anytime.
I think this sport needs
creep-
steroids. Period.
It's creeping toward mainstream. The UFC is doing it.
The UFC saw Mikey Musumeci unhappy, big name, and they said the UFC already has the UFC Fight Pass. Let me ask you something. You think the UFC is going to root out the steroid usage in the Fight Pass Invitational?
No.
No! What is this guy talking about, Mikey Musumeci? Ethics and morality.
Okay, I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but I agree with the sentiment, is what I'm saying. I agree. I don't think steroids are good. And I've talked to people.
No, they're not good for people. They're good for the sport.
I don't think so.
Look, let me ask you something.
That's like saying
you're not a
cheating
baseball fan. You're not a baseball fan.
No.
Yeah, but it's not cheating if everybody's doing it.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
If you get a class full of kids and everyone cheats on a test, that just because, like if I'm in competition with you to get the best grade in the class and you're cheating, I guess if I'm being lazy, that'd be like, well, he's cheating, I'm going to cheat.
But it's not the
no,
same
I
thing.
should study
But
way harder.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Because how
It's not a perfect analogy, but
it's not because
well, I'm
if
talking
we're-
about cheating.
You're talking about
is
cheating and cheating. Yes, but there's other types of cheating. Cheating is a very broad
It's
word.
broad, but it's also the
Look,
same
when you're
thing.
in a classroom with a bunch of kids and they're cheating, what are they doing? They're copying from a textbook and they're writing
Or
the correct
whatever,
answers.
right?
Everybody's gonna have the same answer, unless one of the kids is cheating but is dumb and he's using like someone's wrong answers or whatever the case, But everybody's gonna be on the same level, is what I'm trying to say. If everybody's cheating, correct? Because they're all gonna be cheating from the same textbook, essentially, on the same questions. Not the same in sports. Not everybody is equally skilled. Now, add to that the physicality of it. Add to that, let's take baseball into consideration. Baseball is a sport of pitching, right? If you have good pitchers, you're probably going all the way. You need good outfielders, you need good infielders, you need good hitters and all that stuff. But I think that the pitchers are hardest to find, and there is a reason why starting pitchers pitch like every fourth game or whatever, because they need to rest their arm, they need to rest their shoulders and all that stuff. Right. So if you have a lineup of good pitchers, which means starting pitcher and relievers and closer, you are looking at a very consistent winning streak or winning season, during which your opposition will probably score 3 runs, 2 runs, consistently. So nothing, in other words. You're probably not going to be scoring a lot either, because you don't have the incentive to be running a high score either, right? So if everybody has the good pitchers and all that stuff, or not everybody, but whoever has good pitchers, it ends up being a boring season, boring match, boring tournament, or whatever you want to call it, right? Now, compare that
depends on what boring is.
Compare that to the 90s when everything was on steroids in baseball and the scores were going like fucking crazy and everybody was hitting home runs. And that's what, look, it doesn't matter what boring is to me. I would rather see nice pitching and stuff like this than home run after home run after home run. But think about the crowd. Think about the crowd. And I got to tell you, the old-timers would rather see good pitching too, because, people who know baseball would rather see good pitching, because there's like so much technique involved in that and all that. Not that there isn't technique involved in hitting, but there's so much so many fine details into
There's
pitching.
a bunch of variables.
Yes.
You don't even really hear about pitchers on steroids.
Right.
You hear about hitters on steroids.
Correct. But the thing is that a hitter on steroids, or hitters on steroids, are what makes the game
seem more exciting
to the people who pay money to watch it. okay, to the crowd, to the TV viewers. You know, if you don't believe me, look at their numbers. And
I would say it. I would change that category, and I would be more specific and say, the more casual a fan is, the more they're going to be into that high rise number.
right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
baseball
saying.
purists, if they're watching a game that ends in 1-1 or 1-2,
Right, correct.
they could still be into it because they're
Right.
looking at different things, but more casual.
I like soccer the same way. I can watch a 0-0 match and I can appreciate it
Right.
if it's a good match.
And I'm more of like an American. I'm just like, this is crazy.
Right,
What am I watching?
but you're talking about soccer, which you don't understand maybe or something, you know, like, so that's understandable. But I'm the same way with baseball. I can watch a baseball game that ends 1-0 or 2 whatever, you know, like a low scoring
Because
game.
there's other stuff going on.
Because there's other stuff going on, you know. I can do that, but I can't. One thing I cannot watch is a low scoring football game. I fucking hate watching a low scoring football game. You know, American football.
What's the difference to you?
To me, I'll tell you what. I don't like. I don't know. I don't like a lot of possession changes. I like more yardage. I like more. I'm more of a casual fan, if you want to call me that, when it comes to football. I understand the game, you know. When I watch it, I understand it. I understand why they're running the ball as opposed to just chucking it downfield, you know. I understand why they're doing it in certain situations. I understand why they're milking the clock. I understand why they're taking time out and why they're not taking. I get it. I know the rules.
They get tested, right?
I think so, yeah. Baseball gets tested too, like, but no, cheating in baseball
is different.
is corking the bat.
Right. There's other kinds of
Right,
cheating.
that's what I'm.
Just like in football,
cheating in baseball
with, Bill Belichick, people
Yeah.
cover their mouth
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Or-
There's different ways to cheat.
or deflating the football.
Right.
Same thing with cheating in baseball is when they had the resin on their fingers.
Right,
You know,
right.
and they did it from the hat. You know, because you know all that stuff, right? So, or the guy had it.
He had tar or
He
something.
had tar, not resin.
Yeah.
He had it on his hat somewhere.
And he kept going up. They're like, "What are you doing?" Nothing.
Yeah. So that's cheating. But when it comes to steroids, I like to think of it as PR, public relations. You know, like you're trying to make the game more appealing. Now, how do we translate that to grappling? I'll explain to you how, and why I disagree about why I think in fighting it should be banned. Hear me out. Grappling, you're saying, well, you know, the aficionados, well, I can sit and watch a match, a grappling match, you know, like in the gi, let's say, where they're trying to pass the guard for 5 minutes. For me personally, it's hard to watch that shit. But I understand. I can
still enjoy good gi matches.
But I understand good gi matches. That's the the keyword is good. But
every match can't be good.
well, no, every match can't be good. But
But there's still something going on there that's not like just because it's not exciting looking doesn't mean it's garbage. There's still jiu-jitsu going on there. And that's the difference between like sport jiu-jitsu and then jiu-jitsu.
correct. But the thing is, there is a lot more to be said about a match where like recent matches, recent events where they're going like scrambling like crazy. Who doesn't want to see this?
I do.
I do
Tyra
too.
Tolo against Tackett.
Excuse me.
That's like a match that if I could only watch one
Listen,
match
I want to see that too.
till the rest of my life, that's a match that you can watch a
Now, I'm
bunch of times.
not saying these guys are taking steroids. I'm not saying that because they're very young too.
Those two are definitely not.
Maybe
100%.
maybe not.
100%.
What I'm saying is that they're not gonna be able to keep up that thing until they're
They're definitely
30.
not, but that's part of the sport.
Yes, but we're trying to make that exciting for everybody, not just for us. I need to get some water. I gotta go to the car. Oh, shit.
I'll do a soliloquy. Dude, I'll buy you a cold drink. I got a credit card. Steroids are cheating. That's all I'm trying to say. And there's nothing noble about cheating. Gordon Ryan is the best grappler probably of all time. No gi, okay? We can say that. I would say that. There's a mark on that statement, though, to me, because he cheats. He does steroids. That's always going to be there to me. In my opinion, if you want to be the best and you want to show people that you're the best, the dude that's like, everybody's on steroids, I'm not on steroids and I still won. I'm the best. No one could say anything about that. But like with Lance Armstrong, his thing was, I'm on steroids because everyone else is on steroids and I have to be able to compete. Look, I understand that logic. And I'm careful not to judge because these people are professionals and they eat off of their activities. So who am I to keep money out of a dude's pocket? Whatever. I'm just saying. I wouldn't feel good. I'm doing my soliloquy.
Oh, I hear you. I heard you from outside of Venice.
I love when I laugh so hard that I get lightheaded from it. It's happened twice today. I gotta be careful not to pass out.
It's cold outside.
It's cold outside.
So it turns out I don't have any
No
room
water?
temperature water. Yeah, I gotta take the cold one. But anyway.
I love those Ricardo, those old matches. He has a website.
Yeah,
where he has
yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Dude, I love those.
Yeah.
I was just watching a bunch of he put Mike Fowler against Marcelo Garcia, and then Mike Fowler against
It's funny how they're not copyrighted.
Salo. Well, they're so old.
Yeah, but still.
These are like from the 90s, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, my point here was that I think that it's better for the sport because I think that we have to make it more
You're talking about steroid
mainstream.
usage.
I'm talking about steroid usage in grappling.
But my thing is, okay, let's just imagine that steroids are okay. Okay? How does that even look? How do you push that?
You don't push it. You don't push it now, and it's there.
My thing is, when you've got kids, and kids programs is what makes money.
Well, I'm against that. I don't know that.
Yeah, okay, which I am too. But my thing is, if steroids are okay, and we rely on steroids to give us an exciting sport, then you've got to.
Well, there should be a minimum age for, like there is for alcohol.
Yeah, and kids still do it.
Well, yeah, they still do it, but nobody's checking them. I'm talking about if you want to compete and you're under 21.
Yeah, but you've got crazy. You got parents.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That can be tested.
Right.
That can be tested.
But I just think it would be tough with the culture because a kid is going, it's cool for them to do it. I'm going to do it. And it's just, when you allow, and you would have, I think it would be hard to take the cheating feel out of it. You'd have to be like, cheating is okay.
That's the thing, man. I don't see it as cheating. That's the thing. That's the thing. I don't see it as cheating.
It's cheating because you're not supposed to do it.
Cheating to me is when you're you're not supposed to do it. Yes, you're not. How are you not supposed to do it if it's not if you're not?
You know why?
You're not forbidden to do it.
And I get what you're saying. Gordon had a great point. That's a great point. But my thing is, then why is everyone embarrassed or doesn't?
Nobody's embarrassed these days. Everybody's talking.
You got Cyborg.
Yeah, but that's
and
because
Mika
that's
running
because they
away,
got that's
running
because
away.
they got caught in IBJJF.
You got John Jones hiding underneath the ring.
John Jones is a different story. That's the UFC. Now that brings me to the next point. I am very much against usage of PEDs in fighting.
Okay.
Yes, because
what's the difference to you?
Well, the difference is that you get hit versus not, versus grappling. In grappling, you're gonna get out grappled. When we do submissions and stuff, yes, there are injuries, but they're not because one person is using steroids and the other one is not. Those injuries happen because either freak injuries or you're not tapping early enough or whatever the case, right? You're not tapping on time. I meant not early enough, or whatever the case. But you take a Kimura on me, I'm tapping early. Fuck that shit. I'm not going out there with dislocated shoulder, out of there with the injury. So, but that's not the case in fighting because I do not have so much control over how hard you're gonna hit me, because the punches that knock you out are the ones that you don't see.
Right.
Now imagine how amplified that would be by usage of steroids.
Michael Bisping knows that
if you can
better than anybody.
if you can bat that ball out of a ballpark that's like that, by the way, back to baseball, this is the weirdest fucking thing to me in the world, that there is no standard for size of the field. Some fields are bigger than others, so if you're
No.
yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, it must be if I'm telling you. No, it is.
I never knew.
Google that
is
shit.
weird.
Yeah. Google that shit. I think.
Are they different? Kind of like.
I think because they're.
How UFC, like, there's different size. Okay, this is even better. I was going to say octagons, but in boxing, there's different size rings. But there's not like 20 different sizes. There's only a couple different sizes.
I don't know. I think that has to do with the fact that a lot of these stadiums were built a long time ago, and they were there. It's kind of become like a tradition. So in other words, if you're here's the thing. You know how you have home matches and then you have away matches,
right?
And in baseball you play like 4 consecutive days at home or 3 consecutive days at home, and then you go on the road and then you play here and you play there, and you have like 3 games in each town or 4 games in each town, whatever the case. And some of the stadiums are smaller than others, but let's say your home field is whatever, like one of the big ones, and you be hitting home runs there. Imagine what you're gonna do on a small one,
Right.
So
100%.
so but I don't know why. I've no idea. I'm not that much into baseball to know why. I like
weird.
baseball. I'm just not into it. I don't know that much history
Yeah.
to know that, but I do know that there are different sizes, the same thing, like a batter can just smack that ball out of there and send it into the San Francisco Bay or whatever, but someone can knock you out when you're not looking, when you're like gazing in the other direction or whatever the case. They can knock you out with a punch, with a kick,
and blind you like Michael Bisping.
Yeah, and this is like
Peter Belfort.
I think this is a very dangerous proposition, and I think that is very much justified to actually test in fighting. In fighting, everything is. In baseball, you have X amount of people playing against X amount of people. In football, you have X amount of people playing against X amount of people. It's physical. Hockey as well. It's physical and all that stuff, but it's the same amount of people. But here's the thing. There are different weight classes, right? So you could have like a huge center playing against a smaller center in football. A smaller quarterback who's getting run over by big linemen, and so on, or a bigger quarterback who's still getting hit, but it doesn't, not as hard, obviously, for the impact is not as hard on him. Now, there's discrepancy in size, is what I'm trying to say. In fighting sports,
It's
the same, unless it's
equal.
grappling. There is a reason why in grappling we have absolutes, there is no striking. You can't put Demetrius Johnson against John Jones, but you can put Mikey Musumeci against some 300-pound monster, and it's happened, right? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, in striking, everything is in striking combat sports. Everything is evened out. You got the weight class, more or less height is the same usually, right? Gender, same gender. Not that there is intergenders like in grappling or anything, but
There are
not really, yeah.
Not a bunch.
No. And definitely not in football, not in baseball and stuff like this. So this is all like evened out. in fighting sports, in striking fighting sports. It's evened out.
That's right. That's
Now,
like fair.
That's fair, yes. But not so much in other sports, right? That's understandable. It's 11 versus 11 or 9 versus 9 or 1 versus 1, but it's grappling where we're trying to actually there's a good reason why we have absolutes also is because, you know, jiu-jitsu was invented or designed for the smaller person to beat the bigger person, and it's kind of like a
There's no
thing.
absolute in like wrestling.
No, there isn't. There isn't, and there's a good reason for it. It's very hard. I actually listened to wrestlers talk about it, college wrestlers. There was in college wrestling, you know that they have they maintain their weight because you and I could be walking around in the summer in the same weight, but come season time, you know, competing season time, if you and I are both on the same level, skill level, one of us is not going to make the team. So if we both want to make the team, which is going to be a waste for the college, right? Because we're both very good, we're good training partners for one another, but we're both going to be better if we're both competing against other colleges. So one of us is going to drop weight.
Right.
And now they're starting to look, okay, who is in our division? This guy and this guy and this guy. Who's going to be a better matchup? Ian or Lubo is going to be a better matchup for these guys. Maybe Ian, you have to drop weight and go one division lower. Or put weight on and go one division higher, depending on what you have also on your team. What else you have?
Which Joe Rogan considers that cheating. I don't.
Well, how is that cheating?
Well, he goes to the extreme with the weight cutting, and he not necessarily with wrestling, but more so with fighting with the extreme weight cuts. To me, I understand where he's going with that, but because I'm using only what I have, so I'm getting rid of my weight. I'm not putting anything extra in. That's where I think the difference is between like cutting weight, like that freedom you had to change something, and using drugs.
Cutting weight in wrestling is totally different from cutting weight in MMA in as much as, or boxing in as much as,
it's,
first of all, you don't get hit. Second of all, you don't cut 20 pounds in a week or in 3 weeks because you're
in what?
In wrestling, you have you're competing the whole season.
Yeah, they go up and down.
Yeah, but how much?
It depends.
Do they go up
There's extreme ones, like Chris Bono. When I was in college, Chris Bono was a national champion. He came to visit. Dude, he was he wrestled in the 140s, 150, I think.
141, 152, whatever.
He came in. He knew a guy that I lived with, Pete Donnelly. He came to visit. Dude, he was like 200 something pounds. This was outside the wrestling season. I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
Outside of the season, but
way outside the season.
Right.
But he's cutting like 50 something pounds.
Well, that's his problem.
And now that's super extreme.
That's very extreme.
But
Daniel Cormier was doing the same thing.
Right, and these.
But that's dangerous. Joe Rogan is right about that because that's super dangerous.
I don't think it's cheating, but I think it's dangerous.
You're dehydrating your brain takes that different. I know that in wrestling there is impact, so your brain goes bananas inside your head as well, right? It does go bananas, and that's how concussions in football happen and in hockey, you know, from body strikes and stuff.
One year they kind of stopped it. When I was in college, 3 people died in the same year. And that's when they switched up the weight classes. They did 2 things. They switched the weight classes, and they made it so that, like when you wrestle, it was like in high school, the 103-pounder was first, and the 112-pounder, then the 119-pounder. After those 3 kids died in the same year, they switched it. It was like a lottery. So you never knew. Sometimes the heavyweight would go first. Why? Because you wouldn't know when you were fighting.
Yeah.
So they didn't want. They did everything they could to discourage extreme weight loss.
Right now they go from the lowest to the highest.
Do they go in order now?
Yeah, they go from 120 whatever 125 to the heavyweight.
Is that the lowest now?
I think so. Yeah, 125 or 127. I think.
Yeah.
No, 129. I don't know.
Because they also
134, 143.
They switched the weights. I was a 142 pounder in college.
Mistaken.
I don't think that weight exists anymore.
What is it?
I was 142. I don't think that's. They did something to the weight classes and switched them.
Yeah, I mean, they go up by 9 pounds, I think. I
first-
can't remember, but yeah. But in any case, there is a difference, and
I do think there's a
in
what they're
wrestling, in wrestling also.
Like it's easier to get knocked out
Well,
when you're cutting weight.
yeah, but the other thing also, no, what we're talking about, weight classes. Why in wrestling there's weight classes and they don't wrestle against higher? First of all, they're competing every week, and I would like to see wrestlers going against higher within the norm, within like 10 to 20 pounds heavier.
It's just with the way wrestling is structured, and I don't know a whole bunch about boxing, but I'm imagining because boxing weight classes are even smaller, like the difference between them.
No, they're not. Are
I
they?
thought they were.
What are the UFC weight classes?
Remember when they wanted to put a 65-pound in there?
Yes. There's
To
no
me, that's crazy. It's like 55. There's a 55, and then there's
85.
70.
70, yes.
But they wanted a. No, they didn't want a 65. They wanted a 60. They wanted 60 or 65. They wanted
65.
They wanted a weight class in between there. And I'm like, so you want a 65-pound weight class, and then you want a 170?
No, 175. Then you should go up to.
I'm just saying that's 5 pounds, and they considered it.
I think that's not a bad idea.
I think that's too close.
I see nothing wrong with that.
What's the difference between
The difference is that if you're
that's
doing
5 pounds.
the difference is that
But in boxing they do that. The weight class there's way
it's not
more
5 pounds. It's 10 pounds.
with boxing.
No, if they make 165, because you don't have to cut to 155.
No, I'm
if
saying
you're-
there's 5 pounds between 165 and 170.
Yeah, but it's not going to be a 170 anymore. It's going to be
They
175
weren't
and
talking
then
about getting rid.
185.
They weren't talking about getting rid of 170.
Well,
they were talking about and this is just the UFC because I think one promotion did add it, but they were going to have a 65 and then a 70. That's why Dana was like, no. But people were like, no, there's a difference. It's gonna
I don't know. I don't see anything. I don't see a problem with
I
that.
just think that's too close.
If they leave it at 165 and 170,
Yeah.
and then it can make 175, 185, 195, or 205.
If they
whatever.
changed it, that would make a little bit more sense to me for sure.
Because it's 185 and then 205, right? 185 and then light heavyweight, right?
185 and then 205.
Up to 205, yes.
Right.
Yes. So there are 20-pound differences.
See, because there's a big difference between 170 and 185. That's a legitimate difference.
There's a big difference between 170 and 155.
100%.
And people that
100%.
are fighting in 155 are walking around at 180.
100%. Right. Which is weird.
It's weird. So imagine.
That's why I love Frankie Edgar because he never lost, he never cut weight,
What?
and became the champion.
Mayweather never had to drop weight and stuff. He went up in weight as he grew older because it's harder and harder to cut weight as you grow older. But Manos de Piedra,
Antistone,
yeah,
Roberto Duran.
He was
No mas.
notorious for he's I think the only boxer who competed in 5 different decades. He started in 1968 or 69 as a professional.
Wow.
68 or 69 he started.
That's crazy.
He went through the 70s, through the 80s, through the 90s, and his last professional fight was in 2002 or 3.
Wow. That's impressive.
What's even more impressive is what I'm about to tell you right now.
Did his win-loss, like...
I think he lost, but he wasn't...
Did he turn to a Tony Ferguson?
Look, it all depends on... No, Tony Ferguson is fighting people that are in their prime.
Yeah.
That's the difference. As you grow older,
You
you should not get people that are... You're not fighting for a fucking championship anymore.
Right.
There's no point in fighting people in their prime just to
Right.
boost their record and fuck up
Right.
yours and
Like
walk around
the
like
whole
a
gatekeeper
disabled
thing.
person.
Gatekeepers are important, but I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper. Put me in legacy fights. When I do tournaments, because I'm doing some tournaments this year,
You mean 2025?
2025.
Yeah.
Don't put me against somebody that's 50 years old.
Well, yeah, that's how it's
You
gonna
know
be.
what I'm saying? 100%.
But yeah, but
Look, I respect Megaton, Mackenzie Dern's dad.
Did you see
He's
what
done
Kolabate
every
did to him?
single. Kolabate, oh my god.
Kolabate is how old is he now? 18?
It's like, yeah, dude, he's not 20.
Yeah,
he's
not even
gnarly.
20. He's not even 20. He's like
He's
18,
not 20.
19.
He's nasty.
He's is he a black belt now or brown?
Yes, he got his black belt.
He got his black belt.
He got his black belt when he did a tournament in Japan or something.
He was 16, 17 years old as a blue belt. He was beating up black belts left and right.
Yeah.
And
he's gnarly.
And then he went into the. How did he happen to be matched up against Megaton? What was the?
It was the Worlds.
Yeah, but why?
Because Megaton is such a badass. Megaton has been to every single Mundial in America.
I know that.
And he goes adult.
He goes adult? I always thought he goes Masters.
Okay.
Maybe he goes
when I
both.
say he, I don't know if he always goes adult, but I know he went adult for this.
He went adult for this one,
I think he goes adult. This wasn't the first one. And I'm just like, dude, you're going to get wrecked. But it's the spirit of what he's doing, which I love.
Age is a real fucking thing. And especially in a point system where you know, and you see that in fighting sports like striking sports, striking martial arts, where you get old and by the way, you saw that with a very good example is the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight where Mike Tyson was stumbling around not because he got hit, because he was slow to react. As good as he looked, so he looks good in training. But here's the difference.
I had that conversation with a bunch of people. People were like, "Oh, he looked good." I was like, "There's a difference."
You don't have the adrenaline rush in training that you have against someone that can knock you out, and you don't have you don't really have an opponent like.
You don't have an opponent. It's almost like a different sport.
Yes.
When you're hitting pads, it never looks like that in the real fight.
Right. So
so you can look really good at hitting pads.
As much of a master as he was with his footwork, with his peekaboo and all that stuff.
It looked rough.
It looked really bad. It looked like
in the first 10 seconds,
just like an old man should look.
He looked just like you would really.
He looked like Megaton against Golabate.
Right. And he. Oh man, I felt so bad. The only thing that I felt good about was that, and this was cheating. They asked Jake Paul this, and he admitted to it. I think it might have even been Ariel asked
afterwards. He asked him, "Were you trying to knock him out?" He
or
says,
did you hold him up? Did you like not?
He said Jake Paul said, "I was trying to hit him, but I was also scared that I was going to get hit." So he kind of dodged that question.
I heard that. Yeah. I heard him say. I heard him 100% admit. I can't think of the exact words, but it was like, "Did you kind of lay off in the end?" And he was like,
in the end, yeah, because
yeah, but that's cheating.
Yeah, is it cheating?
That's not an exhibition. In a real fight, the law of a real fight is I'm doing my best to win.
Yeah,
you're doing your best to win.
True.
So if I admit to not doing my best to win.
True, but this was a money making fight on Netflix.
All the people that are betting
for the people.
If I'm betting on Jake Paul to win or to knock him out in a parlay or something, and Jake Paul is like, "Oh, I carried him." That was a term. I carried him the last couple of rounds. What is that? Now, I don't think that the promotion is going to go after him, but that is cheating. Mayweather, the same thing happened with Mayweather. Chael Sonnen talked about this. Mayweather admitted to carrying Conor McGregor a couple of rounds.
But you have to.
No, you don't.
Yes, you have to. This is
win.
an exhibition match.
No.
Even though it goes as their official record.
Roy Jones had an exhibition match with Mike Tyson, which means there's not going to be a winner. But they're also discouraged from knocking going 100% hard in a real match.
Right, I understand. I get it.
There's stuff that,
but it's still okay. But it's still an exhibition match. Say what you want. It's still an exhibition match. This was.
If it was an exhibition match, then Jake Paul saying that, I can't be mad about that. And also, people are like, there's a whole bunch of people, and I don't think this happened, that think that it was a fixed fight.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think Mike Tyson's stumbling around like.
Dude, right. If that was a fixed fight, they fucked that up.
You don't need to fix that.
That was fixed by Father Time.
The only thing fixed was Jake Paul not knocking out Mike Tyson.
That's a fight that needed to get fixed.
Yeah, I think the only thing that was fixed there was Jake Paul feeling bad for Mike Tyson. That was, and Jake Paul did the right thing in my opinion. I don't care about who bets and who bet on the
I don't
fucking
think he
thing.
did. I don't think dude. No one wanted. Okay, Jake Paul.
No one wanted
would
to see
have
Mike
been-
Tyson get knocked out.
Right. No one wanted to see that. It would have broken everyone's heart,
Least of all, his dad.
and everyone would have resented and hated Jake Paul. That's the worst thing Jake Paul could have done is knock Mike Tyson out. Because now we're like, we hate you, and this is why. And Jake Paul is no dummy. Jake Paul knew that. That's why Jake Paul didn't go as hard as he could. He didn't need to, and I get that. He's got a
was
career to
sitting
think
back.
about.
Mike was sitting back. He wasn't even trying to knock him out at one point. He
See,
would
I
swing
think-
every now and then.
I think he was trying, but he couldn't do
in the first or
anything.
second round, and then after that, it just.
Dude, it's like driving a car that doesn't work, dude. You can put your foot on the gas as much as you want.
It's like when you don't have gas in your car,
and you don't have gas. Your transmission's fucked up. It's out of oil, done leaked all out. There's no water in the radiator.
That's pretty bad.
He looked so bad, but I was thankful. Dude, he got a 20M payday
He did.
for. It was 2-minute rounds.
2 8-minute rounds.
Right, 16,
20 minutes in
15
total.
minutes of,
Yeah.
of just looking crazy, and he leaves with 20 M's. Everyone loves Mike Tyson. He can walk
I'll
off.
tell you who's happy. The federal government. They pocketed half of that money for
Dude.
doing nothing.
And Jake got 40.
And they pocketed half of that money too
Yeah.
with doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the
Yeah.
privilege to be in the United States.
I was kind of mad Mike Tyson was talking about, oh, I'm not done. I'm like, dude, no one wants to see you.
Dude, yes, you are. You're fucking done.
Dude, can you please do it for us? We love you. We don't want to see this happen again. We love you. I don't want to. I feel even kind of selfish thinking that because it probably feels good. That's why, dude. I'm not trying to win ADCCs. I still come to class because it gives
It's
me
fun.
something that I need.
Yeah.
And I think it was a similar thing with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
You want to feel alive, so I get it. But it's also like, dude, don't fight Jake Paul. If you want to box again, box somebody, or box Lennox Lewis or something. Box Evander. Don't box Evander because Evander is done and he needs to be done. But don't box any of these. I don't want to see
I
you
don't
look
think they
that
should
bad.
be boxing at all at that age, but
You really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be getting hit at that age.
yeah. But
And none of that peekaboo, none of that stuff. I was like,
no, you got to be fast with that shit. That's not gonna work.
You could tell he was trying to do it,
Explosiveness
but
and
it
all
was
that.
like, dude, that's what a
and how
58-year-old
much
looks like.
better did he look in Roy Jones's fight than this?
He looked better.
Much better.
Yeah. But that was also, what, 5 years ago?
5 years ago. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It's like the older you get, the faster you get old.
That's true.
You
It's
know,
a downhill,
it's downhill.
like a snowball, like an avalanche effect.
Right. Right.
The lower he goes, the
And
more
plus,
snow
dude,
on it.
he started training the last time, and then he had some medical event.
Yeah, and in June he had problems.
It's like if
He almost died, man.
when your body, that's your body telling you don't need to be putting this much pressure on it now.
But they
You're
were
trying
supposed to fight in July or something, and
Yeah.
they had to postpone it because
Yeah.
of that.
I'm like, dude, that should.
By the way, what I want to tell you about Roberto Duran is that he was notorious for after each fight, he would fight like twice a year, maybe, or whatever. He would go back to Panama and party and all that shit. Put on like 50, 60 pounds.
Oh my gosh, that's not healthy. It's like Patty Pimblett.
He was walking around. Oh yeah, he does that.
He blows up. He blows way up to the point where there's a bunch of fighters going, "Don't do that. You're effing yourself up down the road, like your future self, like cutting and then blowing up." That's what I used to do when I wrestled. I could do it because I was like 16 years old, 17 years old, but it's.
That's weird because Roberto Duran to this day is hopefully still living happily and you know.
Oh, good.
But and he's like.
And some athletes are weird too. Sakuraba was like that. Sakuraba smoked, partied, drank.
There's someone that's a shadow of his former self.
Yeah.
Speaking of shadows of the former selves, well, I don't know about Marcelo Garcia because he is.
He's about to compete.
He's about to compete
Is he
in
with UFC?
one championship.
Is it one?
He signed up with one, but here's what I got.
Is
today.
it just grappling?
Grappling. Here's
Okay.
what I got today. Yeah, of course he's a cancer survivor. Here's what I got today in the newsfeed. His first opponent, Imanari.
I love that.
I know, right?
See, I'm excited about that.
I'm making a prediction: Marcelo Garcia by heel hook.
I don't agree. I'm going with Marcelo Garcia, though.
I think Marcelo will.
I've only seen Marcelo Garcia do one heel hook, and that was against Rico Rodriguez's ass.
Rodriguez, yeah. He got mad at Rico, man.
He got mad at Slam.
Mad at Rico for that slam.
That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
That guy was.
Dude, horrible.
Horrible.
You could tell he was so frustrated.
Yeah.
Because Marcelo Garcia was so small, and he just couldn't get him. Marcelo got on his back, and you can like see his thought process to make that decision to jump back and do that bullshit slam. It was like, dude, ought not have done that.
By the way, kids, that's a good reason not to jump on people's backs in the street fights.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay if you're on the ground already.
Yeah.
Because they can't really slam you anymore. I still think that, I mean, if they're untrained and all that, you know, you get on their back.
If you do a thing like Charles did to Michael Chandler.
The other way around. Michael Chandler did to Charles.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Charles
times.
had the leg weave through 2 times. That was kind of fun to watch. He was like, I lost, I'm losing, I'm going to lose, I'm just going to do this thing real quick. Boom! I'm going to get up again. It seemed like because Charles had that leg
and then
weave
he called
through.
out Conor McGregor.
I kind of don't like Michael Chandler
He
as
just
much.
got steamrolled 5 rounds.
He
got walked over for 5 fucking rounds.
That fight's never going to happen. And I've been saying that forever.
Calling out.
Conor McGregor's not coming back.
Man, even if he does, Jesus Christ.
He's not. They don't like him. He's on cocaine. He's raping people. It's like, dude. He's losing all his stuff. They don't sell that brand. He's not affiliated with the brand anymore. The brand was like, he's not going to be in any of our stuff.
Who? UFC?
No. Proper 12.
Oh, Proper 12?
And they're
he's not?
Well, he sold the brands, and that's what he made a bucket of money. But he stayed along with them to do. He's in like commercials. He also got Proper 12 in them a sponsorship deal with UFC.
Yes.
After that sexual assault liability, they were like, we're not going to use him anymore. They're taking a lot of places in Ireland are taking Proper 12 and forged Irish Stout out of the bars.
Shit.
And there was something else big. Oh, he was in a video game.
Yeah.
Hitman.
Yeah.
It's like some assassin game. He has a character in that game. They actually showed like a clip of the gameplay with him in it. They're taking him out of the game. They're like going inside and fucking just erasing him from the game. There's like a couple of things. He's still going to be loaded because he made so much, but these just look really bad on him. Apparently he was going to try to run for president of Ireland.
Yeah.
But they're really mad at him apparently over there. It's polarized. There's people that support him, but I think there's way more people that are kind of like tired of the shenanigans. I don't wish any bad on anybody, but it's like, dude, what are you doing?
He made his money like that, and he wasn't a character, apparently. He wasn't just a character. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a character and it became him.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Because I think he was
quite
normal before then.
Yeah.
When he was.
Well, he had limits on him. He was like, I've got to do this to be this.
Right.
I'm focused on this to do this. I've got this girl. She took care of me. Now I'm gonna fight and take care of her. And I got a kid coming. And I got the UFC. Once you got all that money, there's no more limits. I don't got to do nothing except let the spirit of excess and craziness.
True.
You know, and he's been like that dude, it's been a long time. I feel bad, and I hope he finds his way back. You know, but it's like...
I like Conor McGregor, man.
I used to be a big fan. I didn't like him even at first.
I think he was a great fighter.
He was.
I think he very smart fighter, very technical. I think he improved on his
and all the entertainment. It was all cool, but it just started going bad.
Yeah.
After the boxing match.
Changed the UFC. I think he is responsible for some paydays for the way that they're paid.
Dude, he showed everybody you can be you could have 2 belts at one time. As soon as he did it, I mean, now everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like almost expected. People are like, I want to be the 3-time champ. I'm going to do it. Dude, no one talked like that until Conor McGregor came in. Even though he didn't defended neither one of his championships.
How many division belts does GSP have?
2.
2 or 3?
He's got 2 different weight classes. But he's held the title 3 times.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see
The first person to do it was Randy Couture. Actually having a title, then losing it,
and then winning,
and
again.
then getting it again. He did that. He was the first one for the longest. Yeah, he was super special. Conor totally changed the game. He did.
Conor never regained his title, though.
He never defended his titles to start off with.
He never
Neither.
Defended?
No. He beat Jose Aldo, and he beat Jose Aldo. He walked around with that title for a while, and then he beat Eddie Alvarez, and they stripped him of the first title shortly after he won his second title. But he held 2 titles at the same time, but defended neither.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And most people in the culture...
because they because he fought after that, and I thought... So he never lost any of them, essentially.
He never lost them.
No, he never lost them. He lost fights afterwards, but
Right.
he wasn't the title holder anymore.
Right.
I see. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And in the culture of MMA, it's almost like, yeah, you won the title, but you're not really the champion until you defend it. I get it. If you win the title, that's badass.
I personally totally disagree with that. I think that you should be okay with winning a title and retiring.
That's different.
Well, I mean, retiring or going up in a weight class and say, fuck it, I'm not going to defend that.
I wish Glover would have done that.
I'm not going to... No, but you could say, I'm not going to defend that. I'm going up in weight class, surrender this one, take it away from you or whatever.
That would be cool.
Because you want it. You want it.
Right.
You want it fair and square. It's yours.
Dana doesn't really play that.
Fuck Dana. Dana is there because you're there. And you're there because Dana is there. It's symbiosis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you don't... He discourages that. He doesn't like that shit.
I know
that GSP
did the same thing, yes.
And he's held on to
Dana hated him forever, yes.
Right. And he kind of held his shit on hostage. He still is. Because GSP is still under contract. So GSP can't do other shit that he wants to do.
True.
Because he beat Michael Bisping and was like, peace.
Apparently, Dana agreed to do the Michael Bisping, so for him to go up in weight class and go against Michael Bisping on the condition that he would defend the title.
Right.
And he didn't.
He didn't. 100%. BJ Penn did the same thing.
So
won the title and then fucking rolled. I don't know why. I don't know why he doesn't like... I mean, I guess if you think about it.
Because when you defend the title, there's 2 types of people that are going to watch. Those who want you to defend it and win, and those who want you to defend it and lose.
Right.
Either way, Dana's making money.
Right.
It's like Mayweather says, you can hate me or lose me, or hate me or love me, just pay the money for the pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
I guess
it doesn't really matter to you who wants to see you.
100%. I get where Dana's like, dude, I'm spending all this money to promote you. I need you to fight so I can get my money back. And then for you to go all that and have the title, which is the prize, and then to fucking leave with it.
I think what's happening is there is more money in title defenses
than getting the title.
Than getting new champions.
Than getting new champions, sure.
Because so that's why, for example, you have somebody defending their title once or twice, 3 times, and they lose the title. And then right away they say, okay, let's rematch. Because if I lose the title to you, why would you give me a rematch? Why not give it to the next? You just beat me for the title. But there's more money. There's more money in this for Dana.
Because there's a story there.
Now there's a story.
And it also depends on how the laws happen.
I can see why, but I can also see why the fighter would say, fuck it. I don't want to.
If I get dominated, most people aren't going to want or care about a rematch.
Dana was also mad because Johnny Hendricks, because of the Johnny Hendricks fight, and that fight was a close fight.
Okay, which one, against GSP?
Yeah,
the first one.
Yeah, where he lost, where GSP beat him, but it was like kind of a weird decision, and Dana White said publicly after that he was shocked that they didn't give it to Johnny Hendricks. Now, Johnny Hendricks after that came out to be juiced up and all that stuff. Dude, so that's a different story.
He did this.
But during the fight, GSP was greasing too. Did you see that shit?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see it during the fight.
Oh,
I heard about it
during the rounds. Yeah.
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 I
They were
heard about it
greasing
later,
him.
and they showed it.
So either way, it was like a lot of fight. This is a controversial fight.
GSP 100% lost that fight.
At the end of the day, at
100%.
the end of the day, he would have had it anyway because of the Johnny Hendricks PED usage. So he would have had the.
But I don't think.
It was then. It was after that.
I think Johnny Hendricks was on steroids then, but I don't think he got caught then because. Okay, they fought. Johnny Hendricks lost.
Then GSP went into the sunset.
Right, and Johnny Hendricks went against. Wait, how did Johnny Hendricks win the title? Because he lost the title to Robbie Lawler, I think.
He must have won it against like when GSP surrendered the title, the belt. Then Dana must have made a match between Johnny Hendricks, who was a contender at the time,
the number one contender,
and
versus
somebody else, and Johnny Hendricks, got
won.
the belt by virtue of.
But I don't even know if Johnny Hendricks defended his title. He won, and then he was gone shortly after that.
But that's why
he lost the title, and then he lost like at least one match just badly. Oh, and then he had trouble with his weight too.
Wasn't it because of the PEDs?
100%. 100%.
Not the weight. That's
he
why he
was
lost.
really good for a while.
And all that shit, didn't it? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. Another wrestler, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that.
He wrestled for Oklahoma State on John
PED
Smith.
should be. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
PED should be allowed as long as there's no striking involved. I'm totally for it because it makes the sport more appealing.
Are you for it? Would you be? Are you?
I am.
I know
not
we're just
for
talking about grappling. What about other sports? In an ideal world, if you're like the commissioner of all sports, would you be like football steroids, hockey steroids? It's gonna make it because I've talked to people that were like, dude, it makes everything cooler. Everyone is bigger, stronger, faster, can absorb more punishment, can give more punishment. That's visually pleasing. I'm like, I mean, yeah, but at that point, let's just watch these Russian 10 on 10 with axes. It's like at a certain point, it goes past
it's
sport.
very arguable because I said already that I would prefer, but that baseball would be a lot more attractive with steroids usage, and it's proven, right, by viewership and all that.
I think with that same thought,
you could say the same thing about hockey
else.
and football, right? You could say that, right? But I also think that in hockey and football, because
if I'm a better
track maybe, yeah. In hockey and football, there is a lot of contact,
right?
And
hockey,
I think that,
dude, it's like
I think that this is the problem.
Okay,
now
I get it.
So you got to draw the line somewhere because there is, especially in American college sports, people like Pat Riley, for example. Pat Riley was
the coach of
the Showtime Lakers. Pat Riley was drafted as a football player for the Cowboys.
Was he?
And as a Laker. Yep. He decided to play for the Lakers.
Nuh-uh. That's very cool.
Danny Ainge.
Yeah, the
Ainge,
Celtics.
The Celtics shooting guard and their GM, Danny Ainge, was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays as a professional baseball player, and by whoever drafted him in the NBA.
So he was like a badass athlete. He didn't, from my memory, he didn't. He just, I guess maybe it was he looked like not a good athlete.
Oh yeah, because he was a white boy.
He was a white boy playing basketball.
So was everybody else in the Celtics. Dude, Dennis Johnson
with
the freckles. Dennis Johnson looked like a horrible athlete.
He did,
and he was the only black. Well, not he and Robert Parrish.
Robert
Parrish, the chief. But Robert Parrish looked so awkward.
He looked so awkward.
Dude,
he was like Frankenstein.
Dude, the Celtics had two black players. And rest in peace to Dennis Johnson. The Celtics had two black players on that team, and both of them were starting. That is right, and both of them were like the awkwardest looking athletes in the world.
Dude, but the thing was they're all ugly, but they won.
I think kudos to Red Auerbach, who went out there and said probably to himself, I'm gonna find I'm gonna find the best white players in the world to play for this team. And they told him, well, you know, it's 1980s. We need some black people. And it's like, fuck. It's like, fuck. It's like, okay, I'll give him some black people.
I'm gonna get the two ugliest. First of all, the most unappealing, aesthetically
There's your black people.
They couldn't get like Denzel, and they didn't even look cool. But they were, dude. I always wondered how would they if they were on other teams. It was like they looked crazy, but they were dominant.
Dude, they were.
I was a Sixers fan back then, and they were just they were good.
Larry Bird was my favorite player, and I was a Laker fan because I used to love that Magic Johnson thing. Watching, you know, like back then in Bulgaria, I would watch them on tapes and stuff like this. I would never be able to watch them live and stuff, but I remember I was going into the American consulate. They had like a huge TV room for like kind of like American influence on the, you know, the Eastern Bloc countries. So it was open for the public. Yes.
That's cool.
That's the first time I saw American football.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, but anyway. So and
at the American Embassy.
Yeah, I think that they only showed sports though. They didn't show news. I don't think there was
so
this
they had a
thing.
thing where
It was not the embassy. It was the consulate.
You could just roll up
the
there.
Cultural consulate.
And chill out, go to a room and watch sports.
It was as you walk in through the door, and you could that's where it was. So it was like a foyer, essentially. But
you just sit down.
You would just sit down. Yeah, if there's seats available, they
That's
had like
cool.
couches and stuff. Yeah, but it was all
some
you talk about propaganda. Yeah, talk about propaganda.
Some sports
Meanwhile,
watching.
across the street, it was a small street. Across the street was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, if you would, like whatever, you know, where the Secretary of State in the United States resides. The Ministry of the Foreign Affairs, and they had fucking everybody knew they had like cameras and directional microphones
pointed
at you watching the fucking you know, like American sports. Anyway, but
that's old school bootlegging.
But Larry Bird. So I was playing basketball at the time, and our coach, I didn't know any of that because I was, I think 11, I think or so, and our coach tells us, okay, guys, today we're gonna do we're gonna watch some videotapes, and I got some good video, and we watched the Celtics and the fucking Lakers because that was in the 80s, right?
Wow.
And he had Larry Bird. And he said, this guy's Larry Bird. And then he had that tape. I've seen it here since. Red Auerbach and Larry Bird. It was like an instructional tape. And I was like, that's the guy. That's my guy, you know, Larry Bird. And he was like the only, like, not the only, because the Celtics were all white, but I could kind of like relate more to him because he was like a white guy among black guys who were so good, you know, and he was white and dominating. And we're white in Bulgaria, like we don't have black people except for like students from Africa and stuff like this, you know. So to me it was way more relatable. So I've never been athletic. Fucking Larry Bird's vertical is like an inch.
Right.
So I related to that a lot. I would like I would even try to shoot like this, and I would miss every single bucket. I wouldn't even draw the rim, man. I wouldn't even draw iron on this thing. I would just toss them into the backboard if I'm lucky. So I'm like, I can't shoot like this. Forget it. Like from here, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, So like that was my first, you know, and then I saw so I've seen a lot of the Celtics back then and then ever since, and Larry Bird said about Dennis Johnson, because they asked him who's the best player you've ever played with, and he said Dennis Johnson.
Wow.
Of all the other Celtics that he's played with, and by the way, he's played with like huge names, you know, Kevin McHale and all that. He said Dennis Johnson. So
wow.
So yeah, so there's something to be said about that too.
Yeah.
You know? Robert Parrish was powerhouse. Kevin McHale was I think Finals MVP one year or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Larry Bird and even that team was so impressive to me because Like I was a Sixers fan, and they're like, my man was Dr. J, and these dudes are athletic, they're young, good looking dudes. You look at Boston, and they're just like a bunch of white dudes and two black dudes. They're like ugly. They don't look athletic.
But the time when they were playing playing with the Sixers, for the that was the very early '80s when they played the Sixers in 1980. No, sorry, 81. So in 1980 was the Lakers. The Lakers won the championship against the Sixers. The Celtics lost against the Sixers in the conference finals. But that was the first year of Larry Bird, and Cedric Maxwell was the top dog there. And there were a lot of black players in the Celtics at the time. Not a lot, but definitely more than later.
Right.
Then Cedric Maxwell kept playing until the Sixers met the Celtics again and again and again in those conference finals. So they were, at the time, the Celtics had more black players, but Dr. J retired in 1983 or 84. By then, they were all already with Kevin McHale, 1984, I think, and Danny Ainge and all that, so they kind of became like
the Celtics
that we know. But the famous fight of Larry Bird and Dr. J.
Oh, dude!
He started throwing fists and stuff.
Is that when he snatched him by the neck?
Yeah.
That's like, I've seen that picture before, and it just looks.
Oh yeah. Oh, the fight is crazy.
It's such a weird. It brings weird feelings to me because it looks like I'm mad at you.
They were fighting at the time. They were
like serious business. Like, I'm about to fuck you up. Grab him by the neck.
You know the story with Larry Bird where the very first three-point competition. The 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah.
The very first one was 1987. I want to say. I'm not sure. When the first slam dunk contest had been done before.
I thought they did them together.
The 3-point shooting happened after
like
that.
All-Star Weekend.
But the 3-point shooting happened after. They had the slam dunk contests way back then.
They had the slam dunk before the 3-point.
Before, yeah.
Competition.
Yeah, because the 3-point was not implemented until 1980 something.
Really?
1980 or 1981 or something like this.
Okay.
The 3-point line. I can't remember. But anyway, so.
Because I always remember
the
3-point.
competition itself, the contest itself happened 1986, 87. Whatever. And Larry Bird was in the first one. I think Danny Ainge was there too.
He won the first one?
Larry Bird won the first one.
That's sick.
But the funny thing is that he went in the locker room where they started looking around. They said, "What are you looking at?" And he says, "I'm looking to see who's going to be the runner-up."
And it happens.
Yeah, so it was
yeah,
the OG of trash talking. And
that's sick when you're so confident that you can go like that and do it.
Yeah.
It's just I get tired. You hear so much. I was watching Jeremy Stevens and Eddie Alvarez are about to have a bare knuckle fight in Philadelphia. Just talk back and forth, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna beat you. I guarantee it.
Guarantee it to who? To the people that are gonna bet for you?
Dude, right.
On you, what are you gonna do? You're gonna return my money when you get knocked out?
Trash talk is because it's
You're gonna pay me back?
It's just lazy now. But to hear something like that is just so refreshing. I'm just gonna see who's coming in second. Who's it gonna be?
You know that,
and then it happens.
He was. They were playing Indiana later in his career, like the late 80s. No, early 90s. I want to say early 90s. They were playing Indiana, the Celtics, and Chuck Person was who later became coach of Indiana under Larry Bird. Chuck Person was they're one of their bigger names, and he was a trash talker and stuff like this. So he was talking trash to Larry Bird before the game, and Larry Bird went to him and he said, I got a Christmas. It was a Christmas Day, I think, game or something. He says, I got a Christmas present for you. He says, yeah, oh yeah? And he says, yeah. And so he gets the ball in the corner, behind the 3-point line in the corner. And Larry Bird gets the ball, throws it, turns towards the bench before the ball goes in and says to Chuck Person, Chuck was sitting on the bench, says, Merry fucking Christmas.
That's dope.
And he walks away and he splashes it in.
That's hard. That's so dope the other, like if that was me, if like he was looked at me and was like Merry fucking Christmas, and it went
And he
in,
walks away.
I'd be like, you. I'd be like, bravo. I was a part of it.
Remember Steph Curry would chuck it and walk away.
He's another one. He's magical.
You remember the guy that who was it that he played for the Lakers and he fucked up D'Angelo Russell. Well, D'Angelo Russell fucked him over with. He said something about his girlfriend, that he cheated on his girlfriend. There was a big fucking thing. What's the name of the guy? I can't remember the guy's name, but he played with Kobe for a couple of seasons.
Do you have a brother?
No.
Not Pau Gasol.
No. No. This guy was a role player, but he could rack up points in a hurry. But he was very inconsistent. It was a bit of a knucklehead. Anyway, he played for the Wizards before that, I think. I can't remember his name. But anyway, there's a famous meme. He does the same thing. He throws the ball, he turns around, and he fucking misses.
See, that's what can't happen. Because now, forever, you're memed out.
Now you're memed out forever with that.
Yep. That's why it's so risk to reward. When you do it, it's dope. But because you don't want to be that guy.
I gotta tell you, man. Though.
That's horrible.
You know, I know it's funny. Anyway, is there anything else you want to say?
We'll see how the Mikey Musumeci thing
Unfolds,
goes.
yeah.
He's gonna beat the dude in the UFC Fight Pass. I don't even know who it's like a no-name. I don't want to say it's a no-name, but it's.
Can you talk to me about steroids when you're a sitter-downer?
I'm with you on that.
You sit your ass down in every...
He's aggressive though. Once he says he did.
I'm not saying he's not, but you know.
If you're going to sit down, if you're going to sit down,
He's young.
sit down and be aggressive with it. I can dig that.
Yeah.
But when you're just sitting down and come on, let's.
Yeah,
That's what
I just don't know about this whole thing. You know, he is very vocal about things that, like. He's like, oh, we're gonna make this sport big and stuff like this. Well, no, you're not. Not with your style. You're not gonna make it big with your
He's
style.
pretty aggressive though. He puts on pretty good fights. Now I want to see him against a bigger name.
If you are
for sure,
he,
but
he puts on pretty good.
His one fights were good. He is constantly.
He puts on good fights. If you
attacking.
If you are a jiu-jitsu practitioner, Kate Rotolo and the Tackett brothers and Mika Govao put on good fights. If you are a baseball fan, even, you know what I mean.
I've never seen Mikey Musumeci, and this is with the no-gi, be in a fight that was anywhere close to not enticing.
I don't know. I think that I'm not saying he's boring or anything, because I understand what he does. But I think that he would be extremely boring for someone who doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu. That's my point. And you're not making the sport mainstream that way. Not with him headlining the promotion. That's what I'm trying to say. Not that he's not an exciting fighter. He's not an exciting for some. I'm saying he's not an exciting fighter for somebody who doesn't know shit about fighting. Like, look, this is like trying to make MMA exciting by having like 20-minute rounds, and
That's gonna make it worse.
yeah, that's how it was, right? That's why they made 5-minute rounds, because eventually the guy that grapples is gonna take you down unless you knock him out luckily first.
Boxing matches are getting shorter too.
Yeah.
Over the years.
By the way, did you watch? Just last thing before we knock off here, but did you watch the Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor?
I did.
Did you watch that fight?
I did.
I'm talking about the one right now, not the first
recent
one.
one.
Yeah.
I saw both of them.
Holy motherfucker!
They were both good.
2-minute rounds. Did you see how fast they went?
Dude.
Bam, 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 non-stop. Bam, 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 bam. There's no feeling out. There's no like jab,
Chael Sonnen is like the whole. When you hear someone say they're feeling like these guys are feeling themselves out, he's like that's always a lie. He's like what happens is you can't go hard.
No, that's the thing.
That long.
You're not feeling out.
So you're chilling. You're pacing yourself.
You're pacing yourself. Yes.
But with that 2-round stuff.
2-minute round.
Now they also know each other. They're also both good boxers. They've got a history, and their first fight was good. With that being said, I do agree that the 2 rounds kind of helped make it exciting.
Who do you think won despite the results?
Oh man, I think the white girl won.
You think
I wasn't mad.
I
wasn't mad. Oh wait. The white girl did win.
She won.
Okay. I understand why some Amanda Serrano people are upset, but I don't think it was a robbery.
I just think
Amanda
she
Serrano.
won. I thought she won.
You know what? I think when I watched it, I thought she won too, until they were like the other girl won, and then I was like, I wasn't mad.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna watch it again.
Because it was kind of.
I'll discuss it with you next time. I'm gonna watch it again, and I'm gonna put the volume down.
Because the white girl was a champion, right?
She beat her once before, yeah.
I think she was a champion because at the end, once they're like she won, I think back to what we say about
you gotta beat the
the champ.
Yeah.
You really.
That's the thing.
Unless you do smash on the champ and you don't win.
Yeah, but boxing.
And they're so
boxing
close.
is boxing. That was 10, 12 2-minute rounds or 10 to 12 2-minute rounds. Yeah. And they're on a 10 must system. You got to beat the champ. I think she won more. I think she won 7 rounds.
The champ?
I mean, it's Amanda.
Well,
I think
thought
she
Amanda,
won at least 7.
And I think she was winning them closer to the end.
She was winning. I mean, even before, she was. There was like in the middle of the fight that Katie took a little bit of. That's my opinion, but I'm gonna watch it again and
I think I might watch it again.
Let's watch it again and see what comes up, because I might change my mind too.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It was a great fight, and the first one was really good too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
She's
watch.
part owner. Amanda Serrano's part owner of the promotion.
Jake Paul is promoting her. Yeah.
But I think I saw something where
He lives in Puerto Rico.
Jake Paul does.
Yeah, he lives there and she's Puerto Rican.
Ah.
Yeah, he lives in Puerto Rico apparently. Yeah. What did they say?
That'll start a whole other thing.
I think we're getting canceled anyway.
If people watch this, we get canceled. So
hey, if you made it this far, we're not canceled in your eyes. In your eyes,
That's
we're
right.
not canceled yet.
We need you.
And if you know me, that's not gonna get me canceled.
Right.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Listen, like and subscribe. Okay. Slap that notification button so you can get all the new things.
Know that we love you.
Yes, we love you because all 3 of you. And some of your family members. So it's like, we don't have a choice.
They've been with us since the beginning. What is this, like number 15 or something?
Something like that, maybe 16, I don't know. I stopped counting because, I don't want to make it like, when we get to 1,000, we'll talk.
100.
Did I say 1,000?
You said 1,000.
My bad. But yeah, I was gonna say. But anyway, so like, subscribe, follow if you're on Instagram, follow and all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time, hopefully with a guest. But I do want to get back to that Amanda Serrano fight and Katie Taylor, so we can discuss. I'm gonna watch it again with no sound because it was a good fight.
It was a good fight.
It would be good to watch it without any bias from the commentators, because the commentators also think that Amanda won.
Yeah.
So I wanna avoid that. Okay, that's Anyway, I'm sleepy. I gotta wake up early tomorrow.
Me too.
And you too. I'm Lubo. This is Ian. It's been a pleasure as always.
We love you.
Thank you. Next time.